Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher Review. My name's Julian Vallis, joined, as always, Racing.com's own Clint Hutchison. How's the weekend, Hutch?
Weekend was really good. There was a lot of sport watching.
Yes.
The races were fantastic. We'll talk about those in a minute.
Yep.
And how about the footy? It's wide open, isn't it? Anybody can win.
Well, I've got a thought on that too. You know how about these thoughts.
Yeah,
You've got to be in the top four to win it. And I know that's against your mob, your second mob, your kids' mob, the Dogs.
Yes.
I think you have to be in the top four, and the flurry for fourth is on to see who can finish fourth. It's very, very important. But I think Gold Coast is the team.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Let's get into the track intel for this week in Victoria. It was Moonee Valley. True position the entire circuit. First meeting since April 26. We spoke about it in the preview. I was very critical. I was worried about how this track would play. Soft six throughout. Thought it raced as good as the Valley can race.
It's the best that the Valley has been in a long time, I think. So, they had a bit of a break. You need the weather to be right and quite kind, I suppose, going to these meetings. But we've said that in the past and it hasn't played that way. So, look, well done to the track managers. It was as fair as I've seen the Valley in a long time. I mean, we had winners, I think, first through 11th position, 0 to 6 lengths off them. They used most lanes in the straight. You could lead and win. You could come out wide if the pace suited. So, no, big tick for the Valley curator.
Absolutely. And what I loved is usually even in the straight, they can sort of still win from anywhere, but it's always been rails in run. It didn't matter. You could sweep around the outside, which I really loved. We saw some horses do that. So that was positive. I will say it was really drying conditions throughout the week and the week prior, but it raced as a genuine soft, didn't it? I mean, the times were indicating that I know it's soft 6, but I could easily justify soft 7. For this track, like it was proper soft, wasn't it?
It was because and didn't improve, like you said, and it was drying conditions, but wasn't the case. But that's okay. It was consistent.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's the main thing.
That was the track intel this week for Moonee Valley. All right, Hutch, let's get to the Henhouse. So we're trying to identify some races that we think the market might gravitate towards going forward because they've rated well with either myself or yourself or both or whoever it might be, and then we can sort of go tar-to-tar if we disagree with each other. I'm going to kick – look, to be honest, as an overall, and you sort of touched on this just before when we spoke about the track intel, was that I struggled to find races that you'd go, okay, they're really going to make big statements going forward. So you've got to be a little bit careful of that. I think – a lot of the trainers were probably a little bit buyer beware of Moonee Valley going in. They probably, look at Caulfield next week and go, that's where we're happy to play. But in saying that, I've identified race 4 as a Henhouse. Winner Oak Hill, half a second inside standard time. Last 400, 200, pretty good, 12.02. The winner comes home 11.90. Horse was off 98 days. Market wanted to be with it. I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, the market was absolutely outstanding in this race. And it looked to be on paper – like I was strongly with Mornington Glory.
Yep.
It was disappointing, but the market knew late. It really drifted out. We'll talk more about that later. But Oak Hill, there was a good sustained final 600 at best at the meeting, which you'd expect because it looked the class horse. It was still a good performance, and I think when we saw early what we did with the track as well, you thought, and that might have been another reason the market was happy to play because if that horse was anywhere near ready, it was going to be tough to beat. Had one to beat, but really nice performance and. Yeah, Oak Hill, where do they go with Oak Hill going forward?
But loves the Valley too. So mine loves the Valley. So 4 from 5 now at the Valley, and the time it missed, it did run second. So we spoke about this in the preview.
Should have won that day too because that was the day where
it was actually.
It was massive against the pattern. I mean, it was probably the best run. It was one of the best runs, I think it was of the summer because it was just absolutely cast from where it drew and the run that it had. So it should nearly be undefeated.
Yeah. And so to be honest, if you go there, then you've got to look, okay, well, is it up to the Moya? Is it up to the Manikato? And you sort of go, well, I don't know. They're way for age races. You'd love to see if they were a handicap race. You'd probably go, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Deserves its spot in them. That camp, Hayes Camp, now have got this horse. They'll work it out. They're pretty good at placing their horses, aren't they? But definitely goes great at the Valley, but that's not to suggest. I mean, on it, before it went out for a prep, it did win at Caulfield over, I think, 1,000 metres as well, which I just about had as its best rating. So I think it can win anywhere. It's versatile.
I think it is versatile. They've done a great job with it. Progressive sprinter with an incredible turn of foot. So it's not I suppose Jimmy Star's similar in terms of one of those run-on sprinters that we have, but we don't, Oak Hill's taking the right steps, but where they want to go, like I said, I'm with you. The attraction, I suppose, at the Valley is that, the horse just goes so well there. So if you are going to have a throw at the stumps, it's certainly a good option for him.
Second one that goes into the Henhouse here, and I was going to say winner only, but we're not going to see winner for a while either because the news has come through. We filmed this obviously Monday mornings, Hutch, that this horse is gone for the spring. I speak of Relentless Voyager, which is really disappointing because I thought he was outstanding, to be honest. Half a second inside standard time. The last 400, 200 okay compared to the rest of the day, but the winner, outstrips that by far. He was third up. He had the two apprentices on first up, second up to me. They were out the back. They just wanted to follow on. We spoke about it in the preview. It was like, this is the big watch runner in this race that Zara goes on, can make a real impact in the spring, finish second in a UK race, Group 2 race over sort of 2,400 metres. He stomped up, as Matty Hill would said, and was outstanding.
It's big news today. It is big news because at the whole meeting there was probably Oak Hill, maybe a 3-year-old that we'll chat about in a moment in Esher, but this was the horse that I think with relation to the Cups, might have attracted some interest or has certainly attracted some interest. So what a performance. I mean, I thought it was really good on a day where, there was genuine speed. That turn of foot, we don't have many stayers with a turn of foot.
This is the point.
Yeah, it was 61 or whatever. Yeah, it was a heavyweight. I thought it was a very, very good win. And Mark Zara post-race when he said, I was at the tail of the field and I collected them up halfway down the straight.
Yeah.
So it shocked him as well. Good run first up, excuse second up. It was a really interesting run. It's a real shame. So out for the spring, which is a real shame, did come back, shorten his action, and in the steward's report they did note that the horse was lame and visibly lame. So that's a real shame for them because it was a horse that could have well been on a Cups campaign, but he's shown enough maybe another 12 months down the track or whatever it may take.
He's got to get through that. But there was no doubt it was a really good performance. And I think the point you make is like, he's won a race over 2040 at Moonee Valley, which is sort of off-season. But let's put this into perspective here. And I know we shouldn't labour the point because he is gone for the spring. Duke de Sessa won the Caulfield Cup last year and ran in this race last year.
Yeah.
And Knight's Choice won a Melbourne Cup. We haven't got great stayers jumping out of trees.
Absolutely.
So he was right in the mix.
This guy had good overseas form, and they usually, the better ones usually show something early, don't they? And he actually did first up. It was a very good sneaky run at Flemington.
Yeah.
I folled in the next time.
He was in a different suburb the second up. He was just so far out the back. And I loved his last 100 metres. Like, there's something going on here.
Yeah. And like you said, Zara going on, and it was a really good performance. But anyway, it's a shame for them.
And I'm worried about this overall race. So I know we've put that into the race, but it was sort of winner only for me. Yeah. I think those other ones are just those normal 2,000-metre horses that we see consistently in the off-season, and when they've got to get to that next level, I don't think they're there.
Then possibly not. I mean, say Sadati just to me looked like he's already looking for further. I think they've tried to have another crack at a 2,000 and pick up a win if they could. They didn't. I think he ran his race, but he's probably going to improve and go to another level. Yep. But he might do that over further. He does look like mile and a half plus to me.
I think you're probably right there. So it gives him an opportunity, obviously, to continue being competitive, that's for sure. That's the Henhouse this week, punters. Okay, let's get to the Doghouse here. So races that I'm a little bit worried about going forward. And this one I'm actually a little bit torn about because it's race 2. It's the 2,500-metre race, but I'm sort of winner only in this race. I want to talk about this horse because we spoke about this horse on racing.com 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday called Jenny Vermoose, who went around as a favourite. And it looked like it had every chance. But I remember saying on the coverage, I was like, maybe just needed that run because it was a fast run race and it might just have been tankered out in that last 100 metres, 200 metres. It's a really interesting horse for me on Saturday. Anyway, they've gone third of a second outside standard time. The winner's come home 12.04, which is actually pretty good. And that's why I'm saying winner only here. But these other horses I'm just really concerned about because we just see them week in, week out for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, she was good though. Like her sectionals late was solid.
Yeah.
I know you love your stats.
Yeah.
I know you love your stats and in particular. I don't know where this
is going.
Well, winning rider Harry Coffey.
Oh, yeah. Right? 2,000 metres plus.
Exactly. This is one that I think you should probably bring to the attention. Yes. Maybe next week we can have a more detailed approach on Harry. It's no fluke. He's riding well. He dropped this horse out. You need the speed, but he seems to be making those right decisions. You've already spoken about Duke de Sessa. He made the right decision on that one last year, but he is a weapon in some of these staying races. He's really getting it done. She's all right too. And I think in that race leading in, there was a racing incident halfway through the run where she was inconvenienced. It made them sort of push the button a bit early, I think, on that occasion. And she's progressive with a turn of foot as well. So I think she is one to stick with. I'm with you with the rest. we say it week in, week out. A lot of them will be matching up or lining up against each other.
Yeah. Just quickly on the Harry Coffey point, you're right. This was brought to my attention about 18 months ago by
that long ago.
Well, it might have been a year ago, but definitely at least a year ago by a person involved in the PointsBet team called Simon Kennedy, and he was adamant saying Harry Coffey is the best 2,000 metre plus rider. I did the stats on it at the time.
Who else do you have? So jockeys over a distance that you like playing with. I mean, in terms of, are they good riders in sprint races? I mean, D Lane and H Coffey, I think are the two over a trip.
Zara, I think, also over a trip can get it right, although sometimes he gets it wrong, as all do. But I think any type of strong senior jockey I love.
Okay.
I love it, that sort of situation. Do you know who else? I think wet tracks as well is an interesting one as well. I was a massive fan of Michelle Payne on wet tracks.
Oh.
Her numbers were outstanding.
Yeah, okay.
Outstanding. Anyway, another race that goes into the Doghouse. We'll quickly get through this. Race 5. Winner was Don't Hope Do. It was first up. Just inside standard time. Last 400, 200, really junky compared to the rest here, Hutch. This horse was off 154 days at Leeds. It was the slowest of the 3,000 metre races. I know we're going to talk about a couple of horses that come out of this that I think we can be with, but I'm just talking about if they stay at 1,000 metres, I'm worried about this race going forward.
Once again, it's a benchmark type of race, and I think it was the right setup on the day, nice aggressive ride that won it, but I'm with you. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything more than what you'd see on a Wednesday, I think, during the week. So, I wouldn't think there's a stack of winners out of it.
We've gone through the Intel, we've gone through the Henhouse, we've gone through the Doghouse, and we're going to talk about Harry Coffey next week about his 2,000 metre plus stats. Welcome back, Hutch. Now,
just a minute before you welcome everyone back. I'm a bit disappointed. I've had no comment on the merch.
It's actually
how does
outstanding.
It look? When enough X's in the Excel for me.
That's the M.
Hey, I'm filling it up.
Well. You're going well. Don't worry about that.
Really well.
No, it looks good. I'm good to have you fitted out.
Did you colour yours in? Is that how that works?
Yeah, this is a sort of special, there's hierarchy.
Oh, yeah. You're one of those kind of people, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, one of only.
Let's move on.
Yes, please. Let's get to hits and misses. There's been a few misses, that's for sure. All right, let's start race 1 here, Hutch. Again, for the punters out there, why we do this is whether you want to be with these horses going forward. They've obviously been really well backed, or was it just their day and then we probably have to move on from them from the PointsBet trading floor. In race 1, Navy King was $9.50 into $5. It misses, runs unplaced. I thought this was an interesting one that they backed, but it was an even field. But I thought fifth up deep in the campaign had the Juju Kibo form line. Maybe they wanted to gravitate towards that.
My theory is different. I just think that they were taking the chance that on speed, on fence, probably leads, might get its own way and be able to build when it wanted. That sort of map position type play. Good. And because pretty well exposed, I thought.
Yes, very well exposed.
And I was like, why are they backing this horse? Yes. And he ran okay. But
it ran okay, but it's not one that we go, okay, let's put that to our back pocket and we're going to go again. So
that was my theory. I think they thought, let's go towards the previous trend with the Valley. And it was actually good speed in that race.
Yeah, there was. It was actually. It probably knocked the guts out of Hovland, who never really looked like the winner, never looked at travelling. No, it was. That's what I mean. It looked like it is a 1,600 metre horse, and if you get a really genuine 2,000 metre race, it will spit it out. Because it was the first one I thought that never looked comfortable because they were going at, as you said,
I was
that
pretty happy about the sort of 800, and then at the 600 I went, I'm off.
He was into it.
We're off.
Yeah, right off. Race 2, Fisherman's Beach, $5.50 into $3.90. Again, misses unplaced. Probably for me, it was the most progressive horse on the up with the minimum, 54 kilos. You got to gravitate to some horse, and they were probably going to gravitate towards something like that.
Interesting they went with that horse because it was the same sort of form with the others.
They're all tied in together, weren't they?
They're all tied in together.
It was just the one that maybe it had the higher ceiling. I think we've realised that it doesn't really have the higher ceiling now.
Jockey and the barrier probably.
Yep. Race 4, they get this bang on. We spoke about it earlier. It goes into the Henhouse. It's Oak Hill, $3.20 into $2.60. There was 2 phases to this, Hutch. There was obviously they wanted to be with Oak Hill, which is a good starting point. It had gone out on a prep on a high. I'm casty, by the way.
Yeah, well, you were on a high. I'll let you clear your throat, but It was a really nice performance, and also the fact that you could run on the track as well. And then Mornington Glory, they obviously wanted to be against.
So, and this is the thing, we want to talk about the horses why it hit for Oak Hill and why they wanted to be with it, but they also wanted to be against Mornington Glory. It was significant drifter. We know it's a
Where
group.
were you with Mornington Glory?
So I'd marked at 280. I think we spoke about it Wednesday on our show. I said this is the horse at 280, and then. It was off 287 days, so I had an asterisk going. I wanted to see some support, but I just knew I was in trouble because the drifter was on.
I was happy to be with Mornington Glory, but it was still even disappointing. I know with the break and everything else, I thought it'd still run better to a point because it's only 1,000 metres. So yeah, it'll improve a lot with the run, no doubt.
The market hammered this horse. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. Stolly Bolly, $3.60 into $2.15. It misses, it runs third. And again, I'm going to talk about it later, so don't want to use up all our gear right now. But for me, I was to be honest, floored that the market continued to heave into this horse.
I'm with you. I couldn't believe. I think with the VOP anyway, it was like 235, and I thought this will get out, and it was just being backed in.
Yeah.
And the map wasn't great. Yeah, it was obviously
it's a 1,200 metre horse.
Exactly. So,
but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because I don't want to get into it. And I also don't. We're not talking about after the fact because we talked about this in our preview as well about in particular Stolly Bolly and what was going to happen on Saturday. But also, I'll put my hand up and say I got it horribly wrong from a market perspective. Price every horse. Price that one terribly. Race 8, Far Flung, $5.50 into $3.20. Misses, unplaced. Quick 7-day backup. Probably unlucky the start prior. But we spoke about this in the review. I had that race going absolutely junk, but the market wanted to trust it again on the quick 7-day backup. Anything else, Dave? Because I'm worried about it now going forward.
Yeah, well, Shoeless one is absolutely flying. Good ride. Oh, look, I think Far Flung will win one of these races, but it's a benchmark, 78 or 70 or something like that. Yeah. There's a race for Far Flung, but it is a bit of a Goldilocks.
Yes.
I think. Needs everything to go its way.
Yeah.
It actually ran okay given the race. They didn't go that hard in the race, and I thought it was all right from where it was in the run, but a lot of horses in that race were a bit slow away too.
Yeah, it's probably a good point that you mentioned there wasn't much speed in the race because this is why this horse I think was back and it was reset to Jazz, which was in the same race. It was $16 into $4.80, and I think it was probably off the fact that it was in form, it's consistent. You can sit on speed. Probably they knew that
it sat in the 1-1, and of course Shoeless in the same race. No one would have had it 3-back fence. It was a good ride from Froggy. He was pretty happy about his own work too.
No doubt. Race 9, last race, Naval Academy on the min, $5 into $4. Misses, runs second. It was third up. It seemed like it was ready to peak. Look,
this was a pretty good go late in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was
because it ran well, but
and this is the thing. It ran well. It just finds one better. But I also think like that might have been the peak run for the prep for it. Do we want to continue with it? I'm not so sure. We sort of had a lot of factors that I think were positive, and it still misses out. So that's the hits and misses from the PointsBet trading floor. Righto, setting fire to it, Hutch. We're going to have 2 races here. You brought one to the table.
Looking forward to it.
I've got one as well. We're going to start sort of in reverse. Usually we'd go race book order, but we're going to go race 5 first. And race 5, we're going to show the replay of that race. In particular, we're going to identify Stolly Bolly. Now, Stolly Bolly doesn't really do too much wrong in terms of watching this race. But as we spoke about in the preview beforehand, and I want to get those words up right now, because when I talked about snap or don't snap in terms of the price, and I'll put my hand up and say, I got that wrong in terms of what price this horse would start because I marked it much bigger, and I thought the market would be with me. I said this. Moonee Valley, I think this horse is going to be really popular because it's got big numbers at Moonee Valley. One of its biggest ratings clearly is at Moonee Valley. I speak of race 5, number 7, Stolly Bolly, around that $3.60 right now at PointsBet. Now, I've got no doubt it's a really good winning chance. Blake Shin on the sale. It's first up here off 217 days. But the key factor for me is, and why I haven't got it as short as that sort of 360, and I think you'll get a better price, is just got no 1,000-metre form. And we can't always say 1,000-metre horses for 1,000-metre races only when it suits us, when we want to be in that space. It's just an adage for everything, for all time. Now, we might be able to come back and be able to do it over 1,000 metres, absolutely might be, but just haven't seen it before. I know it hasn't really done it, tried, but I just think it's the way it builds into its races. 1,200 metres is better for this horse. So just at 1,000, first up off that long break, just think that might be a bit zippy, just might get out of its comfort zone a little bit too early than what it wants to. So I'm got it just a little bit bigger. As I said, this horse could still come out and win, but I just reckon at some stage you might get a better price about Stolly Bolly than that sort of 350, 360 on offer at PointsBet. So just keep the powder dry and then maybe back it later at the death, and you get a better price. And that's exactly how it sort of panned out. It is just a really strong 1,200 metre Moonee Valley horse.
Firstly, why do you think they kept coming for it?
Because I reckon it had that number at Moonee Valley.
Right.
So it was a big number at Moonee Valley that it won, and it also had some other good numbers around that when it was early 3-year-olds. And I just feel like they just wanted to gravitate towards that. Blake was on.
Yeah.
Maybe
a lot of positives there
yeah,
for
there
a
was
progressive
positives
horse,
there.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Slow away, back and buried as well, as we can identify. And it was never really looking it sort of worked out. If a lot of people do the maps and have it positioned in a certain spot. I know he led in a recent jump out, but jump outs are jump outs.
Correct.
Races are races. It was never going to be mixing it with some of these. And I don't think there were really too many excuses, apart from being slow away where it was. But you're right. I was surprised they kept coming for it. It's clearly got some nice races in it, but it was kind of easy to bet around, I would have thought.
Yeah, and I just think the lesson for us is why we do these is that going into the race, and yes, you could have got 360 and it tarts 215 and all that sort of stuff, and you beat it. Well, good luck, you're under a bridge because you can't eat it. But at the end of the day, that's just how it felt like it was going to set up, though, didn't it, for this horse? It is going to be a high-pressure absorption, 1,200 metre horse where it's always going to – it's going to be its peak number. Mm-hmm. And I just think we were thinking that it was going to come back with an extra string to the bow. And I just don't think it's got that, this horse. And that's not being discrediting to the horse at all. He's going to be a really good 1,200 metre horse and he'll win plenty of races.
Yeah, and I'm not overly convinced about the 3-year-old Colts and Gelders anyway from last season, I should point out, because, he's got some good numbers there, which is more so what you rely on. But, you know, how much the fillies were exceptional.
Yes, that is true.
We were talking all last season about the boys were just nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Like the best horses were all the 3-year-old fillies. But, you know, the jury's out for the whole lot of them for me, how far they can go. I'm not sure that I'd be following him necessarily even when he goes to 1,200.
Yeah, well, we haven't got the race going. We haven't got the race going any good anyway either. So just be mindful of that the SP is going to anchor this horse down. So just be mindful. But, there's no doubt it'll be popular once it gets to 1,200 metres. But, again, little asterisks for that. So that was race 5 going into that. I want to identify race 3 because you brought this up, and I think this is really fascinating because we see this a bit. Yep. This start of this race is beyond mental.
Well, pre-race there was an announcement where Silvercliff was going to go forward, which is fair enough. But there was already a bit of speed in the race, I think, with Tango Jewel.
Yes.
Talis can race handy.
Yes.
But I don't think in anyone's world we thought that they'd be, and Takiko was obviously prominent as well and backs out of that early pressure.
You can see that now, can't you? We're watching this right now and you can see that these three would continue to press and to press.
And, well, I think there's a couple of things that need highlight. I mean, well done to the stewards, pardon me, for making some inquiries after the race and asking the questions because you just want to see, I think, in a steward's report, okay, have they asked, I mean, obviously he's out in a limb, Mark Zara on Tango Jewel, absolute disaster for him. Yeah. The 2 apprentices have kicked up Silvercliff and obviously post-race they're saying, I should have eased the pressure off a little bit more. And it's just a reminder, I think, for the punters that, you know, they are young kids, the other 2 that have drawn inside there and part of that pace. So they're going to get it wrong. You know, that's the premium that you pay, but it is worth noting. Lovely ride from Geordie.
It was great ride, wasn't it? Because to get out of that pressure, and we speak about...
He identified it quickly.
Yeah.
He identified it quickly and back down. We're going too quick and he knew, and that's what it was surprising, particularly when you get someone of Zara's capabilities wider. Yeah. And his comments were actually quite interesting. He was like, well, he's sort of there, and then once he'd sort of committed, he wasn't going to cross them. Yeah. So... But just buyer beware with a few of the young
I think it's
ones.
A great shout, and that's why it goes into the setting fire to it. But I will also mention, as you mentioned, Geordie Child's ride onto Kiko was outstanding and won him the race because we speak about it a lot. When fast run races, everyone goes, well, the back markers are the best place to be. Not in essence. If you can just be off that speed and the closest to them, they fall in the hole, then you're there. And then the others have still got to burn that energy to try and back up to where you guys were. So I love just sitting off speed in really fast run races. I think it's absolutely the A1 position. Jordan Childs was an outstanding ride and a few others. Well, they got beaten 10 lengths, 11 lengths, 12 lengths. Silvercliff sort of hung on, to be honest. They only got beaten 4 lengths, to be honest. The only problem for it is it'll be still sleeping now.
Had a big weekend like a few others I know.
Now struggling with influenza A. Righto, Hutch, let's get to In the Fox's Den. So our opportunity now to identify some black bookers for the viewers to put into their back pocket because hopefully we can make some cash out of them going forward. You're going to kick off.
Okay. Fastoso is the first one. Now, last week, Wednesday at Sandown, there was a real pattern. The rail and inside lanes were significantly better, and that is what it is. But Fastoso was a little wider in the run. It was in that 3-wide running line. I thought it closed off really well, and definitely a horse that's from 2 starts shown a good enough amount of potential to be winning a maiden soon. So I'd be sticking with Fastoso. And outside of that, I know we don't like the race overall, but I thought Dreamzell, who ran alongside Stolly Bolly. Now, Dreamzell prior was well backed at Sandown, fought 21s to 14s, found the front. A couple of times has been slow away, but they'll find a similar midweek race for her. If she can get into that right benchmark race, she'll win again.
Yep, beautiful. Love it. For me, it was going to be Relentless Voyager from Moonee Valley, so we scrapped that because unfortunately he's going to miss. With Strength. Won a Wodonga maiden. It was the first Wodonga. So I just sort of want to stay in that area for this horse. It was a really heavy track, so maybe we need a soft track as well. But I've got it rating really, really highly. So with Strength, but again, don't want to see it in a higher class race straight away. Don't want it to come to town, but let's just stay off the beaten track a little bit with Strength. Another one that was at Sandown, but not on a Wednesday, on a Sunday. Mr. Vivace was wide throughout. Again, the way sort of that Sandown Lakeside's been playing the last 2 times, you've needed to be, on speed, inside lanes. This horse was wide throughout. I've got it rating enormous. It was only second up. I think there's plenty of merit in it. Performance, Mr. Vivace. Horse that we looked at on Wednesday. Everyone's going to have this horse. And absolutely why. It's a New Zealand horse, was really well supported. It's called Zambardo. Again, it was just given sort of no hope the way the track was playing, which is no fault of the jockey. It's just the way it was.
There was good speed in that race. I thought what was good about Zambardo's run, I mean, once again, it was against the pattern of the day, so managed to settle back and run on and close off well. It was 1,600, first up, new stable, shown enough last prep. 2,000 plus, definitely. I mean, they'll get there whether or not they go to a mile, but with a stable, they generally will improve the Price Kent Junior team, and looks a really nice horse.
Another one for the Wednesday as well, which I reckon might go just under the skirts of a few, was called Tierra. So it had a big significant jockey change, Ethan Brown. I thought they might roll forward here because it was well backed. They went all the way back. Wide, just couldn't make ground whatsoever. Just give it one more chance, Tierra. I think we'll get a price about it, see what happens, and Immerse. Won at Ballarat Synthetic, absolutely lit the clock up, 3-year-old filly. Now, the thing is with this is that we've got to trust this camp to get them away from the synthetic and get them to town as well. So they go at 31% in the synthetic, the McAvoy camp. Away from that, they go at around 16, 15%. So
I looked at Immerse though. I mean, it had some okay numbers prior and then come out and done that. So I think he's a horse to stick with, and they've done a good job. Could be a 3-year-old to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. That was In the Fox's Den. That is the show. Thank you very much. I'll see you Wednesday, Sandown Lakeside, out 6 metres in the studio. We'll have some fun. Thanks, pal.
I might bring the hoodie.
You've a bloody oath.
Yeah.
Good kindling.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.